Story 1. Either hate yourself every day or accept your flaws and move on. Story 2. I am aware that I am unique and exactly who I am meant to be. The only thing I want to improve is my health and well-being. Story 3. When I meet people who may not fit society's idea of attractive, but are genuinely kind and beautiful inside, I find them truly beautiful overall. I remind myself of that. Real kindness shines through their appearance. Not everyone will see it, but the right people will. Story 4. I did not so much accept it as stop obsessing. I shifted my focus from how I look to what I am capable of. My body is not a picture but an instrument. It allows me to dance, climb mountains, and hug loved ones. When you begin to appreciate it for what it can do rather than how it looks, your attitude changes. Story 5. Take control of how you look. Changing your clothes, jewelry, hair, or accessories truly changes how you appear in the mirror and to other people. Most of the time, what people notice is not the insecurities you dislike, but the choices you made about your appearance. If you are unwashed, disheveled, and put no effort into your appearance, you will feel unprepared and unattractive, and people will often feel the same way. But if you take time for yourself and put in the effort, people notice, and most importantly, you notice. When you look in the mirror, you will not focus on your nose because you dislike it. You will notice a new stud in your nostril. Little things like that matter. You are in full control of how you present yourself to the world. Do not forget. Story 6. Realize that, in the end, it does not matter. You are going to be worm food one day anyway. If it is something you can fix it if you want to. If not, who cares? Story 7. I have grown older. I realize I am who I am, and what I see is what I have. Physical exercise now keeps my joints moving and helps maintain the flexibility and strength I need for the long haul and to prevent back trouble. I also know that it is never too late to start anything I want to improve. It is all up to me. Story 8. I look fine. It's what's going on inside that makes me worry. Story 9. Whatever. I attracted monsters when I was attractive. Maybe I will attract gods when I am ugly. Story 10. The purpose of my body shifted from not belonging to me and being defined by others' judgments to belonging to me and having a purpose. Story 11. I stopped comparing myself to filters and began comparing myself only to myself. Tiny progress felt better than fake perfection. Story 12. I have no choice. Either I hate myself and I am miserable, or I say yes, good enough, and go on my merry way. If you are feeling overwhelmed or thinking about harming yourself, please contact a trusted person, local emergency services, or a crisis hotline right now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988. Story 13. Something I read a while ago has stuck with me. I'm paraphrasing, but it said that every feature on your face is a combination of your ancestors. I thought that was lovely. Story 14. I began to worry about other things much more, and my appearance no longer mattered. Story 15. I have never cared enough before. I am not about to start now. Story 16. Try not to think about my flaws, but it does not always work. Story 17. I got older and realized that my appearance does not affect my job, my friendships, or my ability to do whatever I want. Story 18. I saw older people in my life who seemed content and unbothered by their appearance, and that helped me stop caring so much about my own. Now I have anxiety about almost everything else. Story 19. I just do not care what others think, because chances are I will not see them again. Story 20. I became accustomed to my looks. For me, it is iconic because it has been with me for my entire life. Story 21. I discovered that I was born with self-acceptance, but I was surrounded by the wrong people. I needed to be around others who do not care about appearances, and now I am living in peace. Story 22. I look at myself in the mirror and say, yes, the same as yesterday, and move on. Story 23. Having someone constantly tell me how good I looked, about 20 times a day, helped. Story 24. I was humbled and had to build a personality. Now I do not compare my looks to other people as much. Habits are difficult to break, so they require maintenance. Story 25. I kept being told not to be so harsh on myself. I started accepting myself. Story 26. It's simply not a big deal to me. Do I love how I look? No. I learned to work with what I have, and I have accepted that this is my body. I do not hate it or love it because it is what it is. It has good and bad parts, and that is it. Story 27. Reflect on how much your body does for you. We are fortunate to have functioning muscles and joints and to be in good health. We can gain weight to get through high-stress periods and later work it off through exercise and nutrition. Your body is your lifeline. Learn to love and care for it. Story 28. I realized how many people truly suck. When strangers told people like me we should just die so they would not have the inconvenience of a bit of cloth over their faces or of getting a shot, it destroyed the few remaining fucks I had for other people's opinions. I'll dress up when and how I want for my own entertainment. Otherwise, I wear what is comfortable. That does not include bras unless I am exercising. Story 29. I met my current partner. He took one look at me and my brain said we do not need to feel self-conscious around this one, and I finally accepted myself. I did everything. I got rid of my acrylic nails, removed my lash extensions, and I do not wear makeup anymore. He still looks at me the same way he did when we met. Story 30. Try to think of myself the way I imagine my dog would. She would never think she is fat, ugly, or dumb. She simply exists as a dog. We are larger mammals, and it is okay to just exist. Story 31. I started seeing myself as a work in progress rather than a finished product. I identified what I liked and did not like, learned how to improve those areas, and then acted. Story 32. Sometimes I look at influencers. I hate that word, and I think they all look and act the same. It is boring how they try to look identical and behave alike. I am happy with how I look, but that took many years. Story 33. I am gay and I love fat, hairy men. I am a fat, hairy man myself. One day I realized it was pointless to hate myself when I am already exactly what I love most in the world. Most bears are attracted to other bears. I would like to feel small and vulnerable under a much bigger man sometimes, but I love myself more right now. Story 34. When I was younger, I thought my looks were marginal. As I grew older and looked at photos from my late teens and 20s, I realized I was very cute. I had a nice body, a great smile, and long, beautiful hair. Now, if I think I look meh, I remind myself that I am probably better looking than I think and leave it at that. Story 35. I realized that you have a lot of control over how you look. Dress better, take care of your teeth, groom yourself, practice good hygiene, and care for your skin. Once those things are in order, you will be amazed at how much better you can look. You cannot change some aspects of how you look, so it is better to focus your energy on what you can change. Story 36. I'm saving money to have some procedures. I'm going to the gym 5 times a week. Story 37. You can't change yourself anyway, so why worry about what other people think? Use social media less. It works wonders. Story 38. Honestly, playing sport in my 20s and 30s did a lot for me. It not only changed the way my body looked, but also made me value what my body can do rather than how it looks. Story 39. My picture is in a previous post. I am at best average in attractiveness and I struggle to attract European and white women. I have hated how I look since high school, which was when I was asked out the most, 4 or 5 times. Now I am established in my career and have a good income, but I still have not accepted my appearance. If anything, I hate it more. My eyes appear protruding, my chin is weak, and I lack a defined jawline and cheekbones. I am in the process of selecting a plastic surgeon to improve my face. Story 40. I became deeply familiar with the proper function of a light switch. Story 41. Looking at portrait paintings through the ages is very helpful. It gives you a better perspective than you will typically find on social media, and you can see people with many different features. Use the Google Arts and Culture website to find works to view. Story 42. I accept that other people like it, so my opinions do not matter. When I start to get old and ugly, that will be a whole issue. Actually, I do not think I care anymore. To get here, I detached myself emotionally. Story 43. I started rescuing wildlife. Honestly, I am too tired to care now. Story 44. There is nothing better than unconventional beauty. Once you stop obsessing over how you look or comparing yourself to others, you become more attractive immediately. People gravitate toward those who are confident or at least comfortable with themselves. Being comfortable with yourself changes your body language and makes you more attractive to others regardless of conventional beauty standards. Story 45. I feel like it gets easier as you get older. At least that is my personal experience. I am not ugly, but everyone has insecurities. Story 46. I like to think that if animals do not care, I should not either. The love and affection they share, not based on looks, are purer to me than a perfect-looking facade. Story 47. I could accept it. It is others who do not, and that is harder to accept. Whether I accept myself or not, others will not accept me anyway. Story 48. It is what it is. Some things you can control, others you cannot. I can lose weight, eat right, and work out. Mostly it's just easier to let it be. Story 49. It is too expensive and time-consuming to look beautiful. I prefer to focus on other things like learning and hobbies. Story 50. I saw someone with the same facial deformity I have, though much worse, and thought he was fairly attractive. I had to stop myself and think about it. Story 51. I really do not at the moment because I know I can be better. Story 52. Start by noticing small things you love about yourself. Use them to uplift yourself. Story 53. I transitioned into a hot-ass bitch. I look like a model. Story 54. Being likable is far more important than being attractive or even competent. Dress well and cultivate a positive, genuine attitude. Honestly, it does not matter how you look. Story 55. My ex was considered attractive, yet I could not get aroused by him. I realized that beauty is not everything and personality matters more. He also constantly put down other men and spoke badly about them, so he came across as insecure. Story 56. I was on vacation and sharing a rental home before Airbnb rentals were common. One day I was shirtless in the living room with a very attractive woman who was a friend of a friend. I passed gas and she laughed. We started talking and it turned out she thought I had a beautiful personality. I went to the bathroom to clean myself because it had actually been a shark. I came out, sat on the sofa, and explained how a gas can turn solid. I asked her out. She said yes. We have been married for 12 years. Story 57. Comparison is the thief of joy. This applies to many situations in life, especially when comparing yourself to others. Be happy and joyful in who you are. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else. Story 58. I laced up my running shoes and decided to change how I looked the hard way. I lost 100 pounds after a ruinous stint in college. I drank too much beer. The fight never ends. But I will never forget the up-down-up look I got from a girl on the train platform when I dropped below 170 pounds. Story 59. By learning to love myself and appreciate my parents' genes and God's creation of me. Story 60. Honestly, I feel kind of cool and rebellious being unattractive when everyone else looks so perfect. Story 61. It came with age. The day I turned 30 was a turning point for me. During my teens and 20s, I changed my appearance to be accepted as attractive, including dyeing my natural red hair black, vibrant red, and blonde, and wearing false tan. For my 30th birthday, I decided my natural beauty was unique. I grew out the dye, stopped wearing heavy makeup, and my confidence soared when I realized being myself was enough. I am 35 now. I turn heads regularly. I believe my inner confidence shines through, and I fully accept the way I look. Story 62. Everyone has flaws. Their ears, toes, or something else may be imperfect. I am happy to be imperfect. Story 63. I feel beautiful now. It was not always like that. I had to work hard on it, and in the end it worked. Story 64. I've realized we will all grow old. I want to love myself now because when I'm older I'll look back at photos and see myself as beautiful. I know I will regret not having loved myself when I was younger, So I am taking this time to love myself because I won't get it back. Story 65. The way I see myself isn't how everyone else sees me, and that's fine. It's all in my head anyway, and I'm not here to impress anyone. Story 66. Are you trying your best to look as good as you can? Do you take care of your skin? Do you shower every day? Do you get haircuts when you need them? Do you exercise regularly and eat well? So you can rest easy knowing you have done what you can. Anything beyond that is out of your control, so there is no point in stressing about it. If you do not try, you do not deserve to feel sorry for yourself. You will need to accept that reality. Story 67. You have to learn to like yourself. Just think of all the time you are going to have to spend with yourself. Story 68. There is no other choice but to be miserable and unattractive. You might as well live your life. I like the quote, "If you are lucky, how you look is the most uninteresting thing about you." Story 69. I simply hate having a body at all. If you hate the concept of being entombed in flesh, you stop caring how it is shaped. Story 70. I started going to the gym and grew a beard to feel a little less insecure about myself. Story 71. That's such a great question. Thank you. It was a long process. A big change was stopping comparisons with others and with unrealistic beauty standards, and instead learning to enjoy my uniqueness. Talking with other women about what we find beautiful in others helped a lot. The answers were so refreshing. Warm-heartedness, gentleness, kindness, vulnerability, authenticity, creativity, joyfulness, and more. Later, one of these women wrote me a note of encouragement saying that when she saw me for the first time, she thought I was a truly beautiful woman, life-giving and full of joy. Slowly, this changed how I saw myself. I realized my personal beauty and even began smiling when I stood in front of the mirror because I liked looking at myself. I want to encourage everyone not to compare themselves to others. The more you enjoy who you are, the more you will discover your beauty. Story 72. By getting tattoos on all the parts of my body that I dislike. Story 73. When I accepted that the way I look will change, and as long as I do my best to stay healthy, those changes can come and go. Instead of feeling disgusted or angry with myself, I nurture a sense of curiosity about who I could be in the future. I used to feel trapped in my body and focused on its flaws, but I am learning to embrace what it can do. I try new possibilities, move more, and feel more connected. Story 74. Do not worry about what other people think. Have the confidence to like who you are inside and out. Story 75. You are both the marble and the sculptor. How can I hate myself or be happy if I haven't even tried? I guess I find some satisfaction in trying. Story 76. You can be unattractive but still be a cool person by being kind to people. Story 77. What you perceive to be flaws may be perfectly normal and acceptable to your peers. Rather than change how you look, change the way you think about yourself and others. Eating, sleeping, and exercising well also help. Story 78. My partner thinks I am handsome, though I do not. Her opinion matters much more than mine. Story 79. One day I realized mirrors don't pay rent, so they don't get to ruin my mood. Story 80. I just do not look in the mirror much, to be honest. I look the way I do, and people just have to deal with it. I do not have to. Story 81. A few things. I read something here a few years ago that said, "My body is an instrument, not an ornament." I realized it is the tool that allows my consciousness to experience and explore the world. It isn't something for others to look at and judge. That isn't what my body is for. Weightlifting around that time also solidified this in my mind. In a similar vein, having an illness made me grateful for how well my body works overall, rather than forcing me to pick it apart for minor things I didn't like the look of. Getting older probably helped, as I have become much less bothered by what people may think of me over time. Who gives a shit about arbitrary standards set by people I don't know or don't care about? One year we are supposed to be all skinny with no butt. The next we are supposed to be working on having a huge bottom. It's bullshit. Story 82. By looking in the mirror and saying to myself, I'm ugly. But seriously, who gives a shit? If they don't like how I look, they can go fuck themselves. Story 83. I have never had this question posed to me. I guess I cared more about character than appearance. Story 84. I experimented more with my gender to alleviate my gender dysphoria a little. It is still not perfect because I'm not allowed to start hormone replacement therapy. I became a Fall Out Boy fan and used the lyrics, "I don't care what you think as long as it's about me," as my personal anthem for the shame about my fashion taste. I'm emo. I look like crap half the time, and I love it. Story 85. I do not look at myself much. I have myopia, for one. I like to be well-groomed, but otherwise I shrug. Story 86. That's how I found the motivation to lose 20 kilograms and return to my weight before the coronavirus disease 2019 pandemic. Now I accept my appearance because I believe I look fantastic. I share this to say that self-acceptance is valuable, but only if you are happy. I could have accepted being 20 kilograms heavier, but what good would that have done for me? Use that motivation to push yourself. Learning that we are capable is a far greater joy than simply accepting that there is nothing you can do. Story 87. I struggled with this during my teenage years, and I have no choice but to accept it. Story 88. If I'm being honest, it happened when I dated a woman who seemed way out of my league. She was a 10 and I was about a 5.5 to 6. She initiated the relationship and did not seem to care in the least about my appearance. It made me confident in who I am and what I bring to the table. Story 89. I have the most beautiful wife, so I win even if I look okay. Story 90. I really think healthy confidence is the key. Dress like you have a brain, keep yourself clean, and be kind and genuine. Confidence will make it work out well. A guy who has square miles before his hairline starts. Story 91. Take a deep breath. Sit down. Get a pen and paper. Do not do anything yet. Sit quietly and think about everything you like about yourself. As each thought comes to you, write it down. Take another deep breath. Do this for at least an hour. I am confident you can come up with many things you like about yourself. After some hard thinking, save a copy of your words somewhere safe. Now comes the hard part. Read your list to yourself every day. Story 92. I just realized I have so many more important things to worry about that my looks did not make the cut. Story 93. By looking in the mirror and realizing that is the way God made me, I am content with that. Story 94. With a dreamy smile that began at the top of the mirror, a sad dog expression took over when my gaze fell on my penis, which is actually quite small. Story 95. It's just how it is. We can do little to prevent aging, and our genetics largely determine our appearance, so it's not worth worrying about what we cannot control. I used to obsess over my appearance to an unhealthy extent, but maturing taught me that character matters more than looks. Nobody stays attractive forever anyway. Story 96. You learn to work with your flaws, not against them. You learn how to wear your hair, do your makeup, and dress in a way that presents you in the best light. Story 97. I had never taken care of myself before, so I changed. I started a skincare routine even though I am lazy, and I went on an extreme diet and fasted for 6 months. I took beauty supplements and spent much of my savings on beauty products. I even dyed my hair lighter because I disliked my black hair. If you do not like something about yourself, you can change it, or you can hate yourself every day. Story 98. I started wearing clothes that I feel comfortable in instead of trying to look like someone I'm not. Story 99. Nobody is perfect. Unless you want to undergo plastic surgery that could easily make you much worse, you cannot change the way you look, aside from working out and so on. Story 100. Just didn't care what people thought. I'm stubborn, so I wouldn't change it because of expectations. Fuck off or look away if you dislike it. It's my body. I'm happy with it. Your opinion is irrelevant. Story 101. Work out a little every day. Get fresh air and sunshine. Get 8 hours of sleep. Maintain sobriety, and avoid gluten, processed foods, sugary foods, and other inflammatory foods. Story 102. The truth is that I do not actually know how I look. I have never seen myself in the mirror, not even once. However, I know I am a short man with dark hair and cloudy eyes. I can do nothing about it, so it is better to accept myself than to hate myself. Story 103. I struggle with my appearance a lot, and I have deleted almost all social media. That change has improved my anxiety, self-worth, and confidence immensely. I would start there if you struggle to accept your appearance. There is one woman I very often look at on my work account. She is so overwhelmingly attractive that it is impossible not to compare myself. It is not jealousy toward her. It is disbelief that someone can look like that while I look the way I do. I wish I could stop looking, but I cannot. Story 104. Well, I have always looked like this, so I am used to it by now. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.